There was a time when I knew everything about my friends. I didn't have to think about calling them. I just did. I knew what was going on in their life, and they knew what was going on in mine. We sent each other random stuff every day. We made plans without making it complicated. They were basically part of my everyday life, and at some point, it just stopped feeling natural. Not because of some big moment or because of a fight. And it's not like we decided to walk away. Things just changed. Replies got a little slower. Life got busier. And one day I realized we're not really there for each other the way we used to be. Maybe we still follow each other on socials. Maybe if someone asked, I'd still say, yeah, we're friends, but it doesn't feel the same way. And that kind of change can be weirdly hard to explain because nothing dramatic happened, and somehow that just makes it more confusing. If this has happened to you, you're not the only one. Friendships don't end with a clear reason. They just slowly fade into background. Not because they were fake, not because someone didn't matter, and not because someone did something wrong. Sometimes life simply stops placing two people in each other's world the way it used to. And if no one talks about that, it can feel like something quietly slipped away, without either one meaning for it to happen. Before anything else, this does not mean you or I were a bad friend. And it doesn't mean they were either. Sometimes everyone cares and still drift. Sometimes both of us mean well and still lose touch. That's one of the hardest things about friendship. It often depends on the small things, checking in, making time, staying present in each other's life. And when life gets busy, those small things are usually the first to go. That's what humans don't always realize. Friendships don't usually have the same structure that other relationships do. There's no built-in routine, no shared obligation, no system to stay connected. Friendships stay alive through closeness. And closeness needs time. It needs attention. It needs repetition. So when life starts changing, new jobs, new relationships, different schedules, different cities, more stress, more responsibilities, even best friendships can start to feel further away. Not because you don't care, but because life got so much louder. And when life gets loud, people naturally focus on what's right in front of them. What needs to be handled today, who we see every day, what feels urgent now. That doesn't always leave much room for people we love in subtle ways. What makes this even harder is that part of us still cares deeply. I think about messaging or calling them sometimes. I wonder how they've been. I remember something that would have made them laugh, and I almost reach out. But then I hesitate. Not because I don't want to, just because the longer the silence lasts, the harder it seems. I start feeling like I need the perfect reason, perfect timing, or some good news. But most of the time that pressure is much bigger in my head than it really is. And here's the part worth remembering. A friendship fading does not mean it was never real. It was real. It mattered when it was happening. It shaped you. It gave you something meaningful during that chapter of life. Not every friendship is meant to look the same forever. Some are built for a certain season. Some last through every chapter. Some go quiet and come back later in different forms. That doesn't make them less important. It just makes them human lately. And most of the time, a friendship isn't completely gone. It's just been sitting, quietly in the distance. Just paused, not broken, maybe neglected, but not lost. And it takes much less than we think to open that door again. No big speech, no deep explanation. There's no perfect way back in. Sometimes just one honest message is enough. Hey, I was thinking about you. I saw this and it reminded me of you. That's it. Simple is enough, because chances are if we thought about reaching out, they may have thought about it also. So if someone came to mind while you're watching this, it matters. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to rebuild the whole friendship in one conversation. We can just make space for a small moment of connection. Because friendships don't fade because they were weak. Sometimes they fade because life got busy, things changed, and no one knew how quickly distance could grow. And sometimes all it takes is one person being a little brave and a little honest first. If someone comes to mind while you were watching this, maybe this is a sign to send it to them, not as a hint, just as a way of saying you were thinking of them. And if you found something in this video worth keeping, a like goes a long way in helping others find this. Subscribe Human lately, exploring the quiet patterns behind the way we feel, think, and connect.